That was weird. Cool. Let me just double check on our end, but yeah. So
Somebody asked me. Matter of fact, you go.
no, I was just gonna continue the conversation, but go where you were going.
I was going to go off track for 2 seconds. Somebody asked me what the monkey's name was from Lion King.
Go where you were going.
I was going to go off track.
Is it
I think he was a baboon, but I don't know. But
Jafar?
Jafar.
Or is that the
That's
evil
the
dude?
No, that's the Scar, right?
Scar, yeah, but hold on. Lion, King, Monkey. I think it's Jafar. That checks out. But it's hold on. Rafiki, god damn it.
Rafiki. That's a man. That 10-year-old that I told you about, my student was like, "What was the monkey?" I was like, "I don't know."
That's not a question for me. I'm not a huge Disney fanatic, so oh my god, that's so loud. Oh. Without fail, sir, you are testing 1 2 3 right here. Anyway, that's hilarious. That's Lion King's all man. Disney's the shit. I don't dislike Disney. I just don't watch. I don't have time to watch a bunch of movies, and I didn't do it in my childhood either. So yeah. But I'm down with him. I like his philosophies, whatever he was trying to say to people.
I don't think I even remember his philosophies well enough to know if I liked them or not. But I feel like
So the one I remember the most is when he hit him on the head. He was just like, "Ow, what'd you do that for?" And he was like, trying to explain to him the lesson of like pain, if I remember correctly. Basically, like pain comes and goes, but it's the attention you give to it, kind of thing. So I don't know. I could be way off and be making that up, but that sounds like one of his lessons. I remember he hit him in the head with a stick, and there was a lesson in hitting him in the head with the stick. So we're gonna look
you're
into
like,
it. I'm gonna stick with that. But yeah. Anyway, we were talking
but
about
back on topic.
yeah. We were talking about for the people watching. What we were talking about was the where you should invest time or resources, money, whatever, into in terms of marketing. But you were discussing kind of what you currently have and where you're potentially thinking about going in terms of like marketing strategy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely, without a doubt, applying the most pressure to Instagram. Uh, because I feel like even though it's going to be antiquated in the next 10 years, it's not yet. It's still number one. So, that's just where my head's at. But as far as overall marketing, potential and goals and roadmaps and things of that nature, my mind is just in a place where I feel like I don't want everything to be on one platform. I want some sort. I want it to look more legit, so to speak. Like you're not gonna find a major artist who's only popping on one platform.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I know obviously the growth is not going to be simultaneous everywhere, but ideally, you know, like so back on the topic of working with this marketing agency, I said worketing. Um,
Marketing and working at the same damn time.
I feel like right now that's the best thing for me, and I think that when the traction picks up at whatever point, and like I guess I don't want I'm already coming out of pocket to pay them so that anything I post has the proper exposure. When the stuff I'm doing as far as the music and as far as Cloudy the Weatherman, this is included as one of those things. When any one of these things begins to provide some sort of revenue that can then be translated into me paying, say, an assistant to run my marketing or to run my social media, that will be like step number two for me.
Right.
But um, like right now, I can afford a subscription based thing. I can't really afford an employee, so that's just where I'm coming from.
That makes sense.
But I can't hear you if you're talking.
I said that makes sense.
There we go. But yeah, but okay. So to answer the first question or to get back on that topic, you're saying, it's fine to have one platform be king, so to speak.
So hold on. I'm gonna see if I can. Can you hear me with this on still, or is this like a double? I wonder.
No, that there's definitely a double, but the double was crazy when you were far away. I was like,
That's great. Okay, all right. Then I'll just stick to this one thing. That's hilarious. Anyway, I'll have to speak up and stay close to the microphone.
okay, so your audio is like really quiet now because it's not close to you. I think.
What about now?
Turn it up a little more.
Hold on, 1 second. I can do that. I just have to find it. Hold on. Hmm. Continue with what you were saying. I'll fix this.
Okay, so basically,
Oh no, it was my turn anyway. I was talking. I know. I
as
remember.
well.
You asked me a question. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that you have to be intentional about having even growth when it comes to your social media platforms, and if you have the money to pay someone to run them, or you can somehow set up automation. So for me, I don't have, well, it's not that I don't have it, it's that I don't really want to pay a company or a person to do it right now. So I pay for small automations that allow me to do what I need to do, and it seems to be working. So for example, I use automation to post on YouTube and Instagram at the same time. So I'm
Hmm.
growing my Instagram and my YouTube at the same time, and it's been working. I haven't put any extra effort into YouTube, and I have about 100 subscribers in a matter of like 3 months, 3 4 months. So it's just about being consistent, and the way that you do that is through turning one piece of content into like 10 across different
Well, yeah,
platforms.
that's definitely so that's for me at least that's a given, and I definitely preach that to people. Um,
But yeah.
but I think what you're saying is absolutely something I should look into because I spend the extra hour that I don't need jumping from app to app, writing different captions, posting different links, things
Yeah,
like that.
it's a headache.
Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not the end of the world. Especially, I think what becomes the headache is clipping things on different platforms. You know, but
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe what'll save me time there and just being smarter is like making my clips in advance and just going. Choo, 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 choo. But automation, how do you go about that? What do you use?
I'm gonna try this again. I'm gonna get this. What do I use? So for automation, I use basically. This is really fucking long. For automation, I use the video thing. I use that for this, but
Right.
for my automation, I use something called Metric Cool, like the metric, and then cool, and that is for double posting or triple posting, whatever. It can post on TikTok too, but I don't even bother with TikTok right now, which is another thing I wanted to ask you about. But in terms of the YouTube posting and the reel posting, that's what I do with that. And then for post, another thing that people miss out on, and here's a big thing that I have proven with myself, and I've heard from all the Instagram coaches that I follow, and
Hmm.
this is for I shouldn't say Instagram, I should say social media coaches that I follow, because they're big on all the platforms. They say to reuse content, like find your best content of each month and just repost it a month later. That way you don't have to make 30 new pieces of content for 30 days. All you need to make is like 5 new pieces of content, add it to your current 10, and then each month make 5 new pieces of content and then rotate. I mean, that's a super simplified version. You're not going to get away with posting the same 5 things every week, but once you get to a point, like for me, I have hundreds, because I've been doing it for like 2 3 almost 3 years, if not more. So I have all that saved, and I can just go back and post. I can post something from when I first started, and for 90% of my following, it's brand new.
Right.
So because it depends on the time of day, it depends on if they're on Instagram that day, it depends on if they're following me. Like there's so many different variables to it that it doesn't make any sense not to do that, because the people that even notice, which is probably like 4 people, don't care. They're not going to be like,
I think I
hey.
definitely. Sorry. No, you're right. It definitely clicks as far as making sense. I would probably apply that on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. But I have done that on TikTok, and I haven't done it. No, I've done that on both. I do that for our stuff on YouTube Shorts.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Uh, but yeah, I tried to use Metricool before. I think you sent me the link. I tried to use it. Does it ask for Facebook login?
Yeah.
One of the major reasons I don't do Facebook ads is because for some reason it's just always a headache for me to do that. But an idea or a philosophy or whatever I want to call it just kind of clicked in my head as I was speaking, and especially because I'm on the phone with you and we met on Web3. I remember getting into Web3 was a wild headache for no reason, for bullshit reasons, and I did it, and my life changed because of it. So, in that same vein, maybe I need to get on Facebook, but or at least Facebook marketing. Um, leave that there. But point in case in point.
You can hear me, right?
That was wild. You sound like a machine. Not a machine, but you sound like you're speaking from the clouds, like I'm David and you're Goliath.
So it's not better.
I hear you clearly now, but it's like I hear you twice.
Got it. Okay. Makes sense. Do you hear me twice now? You don't hear me at all. This is fun.
Man. If anybody's watching or anybody in the comments or anybody period sees this and has, ideas as far as marketing for artists and content creators, literally anything is interesting to us, drop it down below. We'll take a look. We'll talk about it.
For real. You can hear me, right? No? Yes? No?
Still can't hear you, but what the fuck? No.
I done fucked up. You can't hear me still? Bruh.
I almost feel like you're playing with me now.
Can you hear me now? You can hear me
yes,
now.
Yes. There you go.
God damn. All right. Last time I'm not doing that again. I have this thing where I can't let things be. That's a big issue in my life, apparently. And I'm just like struggling with it right now. Anyway.
It's okay.
Well, we all struggle a little bit, and that actually leads me into my next question. But I think you were still finishing your thought about marketing.
Yeah, something that I just thought about while that was going on is like I saw this clip of how like streamers sometimes fake freeze. They'll go like, right? Like I saw a clip like that, and the guy did it, but like his fan was on.
That's epic.
But he was like you, like he's determined not to give up on it. So they're like, bro, your fan is on.
Yes, see, I could do that. Just do it up there, like.
Guys, I don't know what happened.
Or it's like that dude that glitches on TikTok. But yeah. Did I just hear? Hold up, we're gonna have to stop. Did I just hear what I thought I heard? Did I hear your smoke detector? Or was that a shoe squeaking?
My dad's working out.
Okay.
In his living room.
All right, cool. I was like, wait, you're not one of those people, are you?
Why? One of what people?
The people that don't change the batteries in their smoke detectors.
No, not at all.
I love being on like a live or somebody like films a reel and it's like beep. What are you doing? I get it. They don't hear it because they live with it, but it's like, oh man.
I'm not an animal. No, I don't.
That's crazy. Mine's connected to my.
I would literally go crazy.
Oh yeah, you can't. If it goes for like 3 beeps, I'm done. I'm ripping it off the wall. It's game over. Mine are actually. It's really weird. They're actually built into my house. So my house, electricity runs through it. So it's like an accessory to the house. It's not like you can't remove it. There's no removing it. There's no batteries.
Oh shit.
It's like mounted into each room. But thankfully, it doesn't go off for dumb shit.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Like I can fill the room with like incense smoke or whatever, and it's fine.
I got genuinely scared because close to when I first met the lady who's my girlfriend now, we weren't dating yet. She was in an Airbnb. I went over to her place, and she left in the morning to go get us like coffee or something, and I put something in the oven. Or no, she had cooked. She had cooked the night before and left the oven on, and we
Oh
didn't even
shit.
know. Right? And I wake up and I'm sitting in the living room. She leaves. I'm like, it smells weird in here. Right? So I go over to the oven. I'm like, yeah, it's this. I open it right away. I don't just get heat. I get methane smell. As soon as that hits, as soon as I open the oven, smoke detector comes on. There's no smoke in the house.
Oh my god, that's terrifying.
I'm like, this finna blow up. I'm about to leave. So I'm like, I'm calling her all calm, but I'm like 10 feet away from the house. Like I walked out the house and I just watched it like from
Oof.
outside. I'm like, your house might blow up. I turned the oven off. You left it on. It's not my fault. But
Is it a gas oven?
it must have been.
Okay. So then, yeah, interesting. So then it wouldn't have been methane, it would have been propane.
But it
Actually,
was
it would have been
maybe
a sulfur, because did you know there's sulfur inside of propane so you can smell it?
I didn't know that, but that's an interesting fact.
Well, yeah, because otherwise you would blow up and die a lot. Because think about it. Have you ever lived in a place or been to a place with a gas stove? It's really easy to leave on, I promise you.
Yeah.
Because I have a gas fireplace, and that actually, when you were talking about that, that made me think of that exact thing. I literally turned it on and forgot. I didn't forget, but I like took my time with it, and I didn't know how much was actually like seeping out. And I go to grab the lighter,
Right.
and I go and stick it under the logs. Mind you, there's like a bunch of space, so I literally hit it, and the biggest fireball I've ever seen just like
Oh shit.
and comes at my face, dude. I swear to God, I fell backwards, and I was like, holy crap, that was.
Did it burn you?
No, thankfully, it almost caught my hair, but I'm pretty quick with it because I kind of knew what I was getting myself into, and it all started because my wife was like, "Turn on the fire," and I was like, "All right, cool. I've never done it before," and I did, and I was like, she's like, "I don't want to do it because I'm scared it's gonna blow up," and I was like, "Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm a man." She was terrifying. But I was gonna ask you a question, and this is
No, a fireball is different.
fireballs
My
are.
bad is lagging.
Why is it lagging? Whose side? What are you doing? Is this on you?
It's just delayed. It's not lagging. It's just like it's a second delay, but it's okay.
I'm gonna freak
You don't have
out.
to worry. No.
Don't freak out. So
Just ask me a question.
yeah. Well, okay. So part of it, I think, is because I have 10 tabs open. I'm gonna end all of them. That should help a lot. Secondly, I was gonna ask you about your. So, what do you do? What are your either coping mechanisms or your strategies to get through when shit's not going your way? Like when it, not
I go
like.
like this.
And what does that do for you?
I'm just fucking with you, bro. Keep going.
No, that was it. That was the question. So like, what do you do when shit's not going your way? And I know that sounds kind of like, well, you just keep going. Like that's obvious. But I think the thing I'm more interested in is we all go through seasons where it's not just like a tough day or a tough week. And
Right.
I'm curious if you have found any particular like strategy, like, oh, I go outside and I eat grass for 35 minutes, like whatever. Is there anything is there anything that you found or like do when you go through those types of seasons? Try it, y'all. Just eat grass.
So fun. I just pictured that. I was like, oh, that's crazy. But
Wait, but hold on before you continue. How did you picture it? Was it did you picture someone grabbing it
yes.
and
No.
going
Yeah.
down and just
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good. Because that's the only way to eat grass.
When I used to hear you need to touch grass, I thought that's what people meant. I was
Like,
like, what
yeah,
are these
like
weirdos?
stroke it.
Anyways, um, That's a good question. Okay. Kind of like a two-parter. Not really, but kind of. Um, my when I want something to work, when I really am going for something, like if I'm indifferent about it, or even a little indifferent about it, this could be different. But if I really want something to work out, if I really believe in a thing's potential, if I believe in myself and the thing, etc., my level of perseverance tends to be pretty strong. As far as I get pretty far off self belief, even if a thing isn't going for right, it isn't going right. Um, that being said, the taller the task, usually, the more your perseverance is going to be tested, right? So what I find is that because I have this limit with things I genuinely love to do or want for myself, um, whenever I start feeling what you're talking about, the end of my need for that level of perseverance is right around the corner.
Damn. That part. Shit.
So because of that, and I've learned that, um, ironically, Web3 kind of taught me that a little bit with like not just stuff as simple as whitelisting, but like my overall experience doing that whole thing, whether it was simply investing and learning stuff about crypto or like doing my music thing within it, the whole nine. It was like I definitely told you this story. It was like I started, spent 3 months, took half of my net worth, which was nothing because I was 16, 17, and spent it all, lost it all, you know,
Yep.
grabbed a little bit more, lost more,
Oh yeah.
and then was like, okay, I literally, like, if I spend any more, I'm gonna like have nothing to fall back on, not even $1,000. So I need to figure this out. My last little bit of change is spent on what I hope is gonna work out, and no, scratch that. I'm in this hole, and I'm trying to walk myself back through this mindset. I have enough perseverance to believe in making a song for X project will work for a whitelist, because I really think it's a good project. Um, Mind you, none of the whitelist I've gotten prior to that worked, and every investment I tried to get off of and flip died, right? So I make these songs, I send them out, I get back to back whitelists because of it. So I basically make a song, make like a Triller video, edit it, post it on Twitter, tag everybody, DM everybody that's part of the project, send. In their Discord, every whitelist competition, send. And it works for like 2 out of the 5 that I made, which were the 2 most promising ones. And still had made no money, still was in this hole, still had like a month before these projects minted. So, still where I was. It was just like, oh, okay, this is cool. This worked. I woke up happy one day. I got text from, these project founders. Awesome. Great. Right.
Nice.
And but I'm still broke. I still haven't succeeded. Anything. All I got was verification that a random person liked a little bullshit song I made. Wonderful. Right. So I keep pushing, slow. I can't really afford to buy anything more, but I'm like checking OpenSea every day. I'm selling a thing for $13 here and $14 there. Still nothing. And but mind you, this entire time I'm not giving up on the idea that NFTs can make me money in my way.
Right.
Like that's the key. It was like every day I woke up and spent hours doing this. I didn't have a job at this point. I wasn't really even doing a school. It was like online senior year. I wouldn't have to do shit.
Exactly.
My day is free after 11 a.m.
Yep.
And I spent damn near every day from like at least 5 hours just doing this, just on my computer, doing research. My friends would hit me up, what you doing? Research. What you been on? NFT? Like, they didn't get it, but I was just doing that because I saw the potential in it.
Exactly.
Back-to-back days, I make 20 grand one day.
Welcome to NFTs.
The day after I woke up and said I want to quit.
Shit.
So that's like, I can't ever do that shit again. I can't ever look at something, wake up and say I want to quit and then do it, because I felt that. I felt what it's like not to do that. You know?
Shit, that's
So
crazy, dude.
that's kind of how I preach it to other people. I'm like, if you are really feeling that, go even harder. Just do it. Just keep going. No, you don't have to break yourself and like spend that last whatever, but like stay in it, you know?
Right.
And
Stay
it
around it at
will,
least.
whatever you believe in, whatever, like even if you don't believe in shit, just your value will be returned. Your investment of time will be, returned if you put it in.
Damn. That's wise for sure. That's definitely wise words. Yeah, speaking of Web3, I actually minted garbage friends today.
Bring the mic a little closer to you.
No, I'm upset that. See, this is okay. So this is why I'm not using. Jesus Christ. This is why I'm not using this microphone anymore, because that one I can move. This one I cannot. Or actually, fuck that. We're gonna drink to the morning.
Like every other part of your sentence, just quiet.
That's weird. Hold up. Let me turn it up to 200. How about now?
I hear you.
Is it any better though?
It's tracking better, yeah.
Okay, cool. Good shit. Well, next time I'm not going to do this microphone. But anyway,
Okay.
I said I minted garbage friends from my invisible friends, so that was fun. It was cool to be around it for like 30 minutes, but it was also a reminder of everything that I hated about NFTs is just the volatility and the FUD and the just... For every success, there's 30 losses, and it's a wasteland, man. It sucks. But
Especially now, bro, because it's like
well, yeah, now for sure. Yeah. I it's one of those things where you have to just let it be, but also not, like you said, like not give up. Like I haven't given up on NFTs. I don't think that they're dead. I just think that we're in a really, really low period for it, and we've been there before. We're just in a different period of time in terms of life, man. Life's crazy right now. It's absolutely insane the amount of, just in America, I can't speak for anywhere else, but in America, it's very, very expensive just to live. I can tell you it's gone up to, it used to be, if you go out to eat and then go to the grocery store, going to the grocery store, you can get way more food. Not anymore. Not anymore. You can go to the grocery store and get like 3 meals, and you'll probably end up spending $100, which is what you can get 3 meals at a restaurant for.
That's a really good point, bro.
It wasn't always
That's
like
honestly
that.
a really good point, because I've thought about that a lot recently, because I've been, grocery shopping. I'm like, wait a minute, this is like I'm going out. Like, what am I doing right?
I honestly, so we kind of have had, we were pretty strict for a while, and we still kind of are, but we have like 3 days a week that we'll eat out, and I'll kind of pay attention to how much we spend, and I've noticed that our Uber Eats bill is lower collectively than our grocery bill in 1 week. Like if we get Uber Eats 3 times, it's lower than 3 days worth of food from the grocery store.
Wow. But
Not 3 days, sorry. Three meals from the grocery store. So like, let's say a dinner. So, I mean, it also depends on what you're eating, right? Like if you get like 2 different types of meat, you get like beef, and then you get chicken, and then you get all the ingredients to make 3 different types of meals. Like that right there, that's like $100. And you can go to a restaurant and spend like $15-20 and get a meal for 2 in some cases.
Nowhere here, but I
yeah, true. As I said that, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about those types of food days. I usually do maybe one of those a month, because you can't get good food cheap. It's just not a thing, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's funny because, like, I don't know, bro. This is like a part of a bigger. We have a lot to talk about, by the way, as far as life, but this is just a segue. But I've noticed I might be hitting a certain either point in my life, or maybe it's honestly an age. I don't know, but it's like I can't justify just like getting full off a fucking gas station stop anymore. Like I used like when I was 17, 18, I could be like, all right, bro, like I can't afford this shit. I'm gonna go to the gas station, get some chips, a candy, a soda. Great, I'm
Oof.
good for 8 hours.
Oh my god,
You
yeah.
know, but
Yep.
like now I feel like like I genuinely leave feeling sick. I can't do the like if I'm just off a Snickers bar, I feel it. You know, whereas before it was like it didn't matter what was in me that was keeping me going. But
I think it's two things. I think it's an age thing, and I think it's also a matter of eating better food, because when you start eating better, your palate changes, so
mm,
your stomach also changes. So, for example, if you start eating healthy lean meats and vegetables, and then you
right,
eat a greasy pizza after eating lean meats and vegetables for a week, or not a week, like a month, game over. You're gonna be in a lot of pain.
it's the same. Like my girl's vegan, and now like when she goes back, she's not lactose intolerant, but when she eats cheese, it's fucked. You know, I get it.
Dude, cheese hurts everybody. Most people, I should say.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a rough one. Um, yeah, I was going to
How do you feel?
go
How
ahead.
do you feel, Senor, about the difference between settling and conceding?
Well, that's a good one. We have 3 submissions, by the way.
Fire.
Um,
This is incredible. I like the consistency here. By the way, of these submissions. This is really. Thank you guys.
yeah, thanks to everybody. I don't even have the chat up. I'm failing on that one, but it's okay. How do I
But
feel
yeah,
about conceding versus what?
conceding versus settling.
Oh, okay. So conceding, I feel, is when you make a conscious choice to put the other person's interest ahead of yours. And I think that settling is when you bring the goal closer, whatever that means. So if your goal is a Ferrari, you'll settle for a Mercedes Benz. But if you are going for a Ferrari and your wife wants a Land Rover, you're going to concede to get the Land Rover. You're not settling for the Land Rover, you're conceding to your wife for the Land Rover.
One more time.
Okay. So if you are settling, you bring whatever the goal is closer. You're settling for less in a sense. In my
Okay.
personal opinion, that's a loss. Like if you're settling, that's in my head that's a loss.
Right.
I play settling as a loss in my head because you're not getting what you wanted, and
Hmm.
the other person or the other person, thing, or whatever, the opposite side is. So like if you're,
Right.
again, if you want a Ferrari and you decide that you're just not able to get it in your head, because I mean it's a Ferrari, anyone can have one if you really want one. But if you decide you're not able to get it and you just decide to settle for a lesser value car, that's settling. Versus conceding. Conceding is when you make a conscious choice to put the other person's interests ahead of yours, or the other party's interests. I don't know what we're talking about here hypothetically, but
Mhm.
it's when you put
Mhm.
the other party's interests ahead of yours, in interest of the relationship. So you're putting your ego and your personal interests aside for the
Mhm.
greater outcome of the relationship or that person's benefit. So it's still a loss, but it's a noble loss, I guess.
Okay.
Depending on what you're conceding for, right? Like if you're talking about, like, if you're two drug addicts and you're like, all right, we'll settle for coke if we can't get crack. Like that's not something, or like you concede. He's like, hey man, I wanted weed, but here's like some hard drugs instead. It's like I'm not gonna concede to that. What the hell? But yeah, um, I don't know. That's just where my head went. But yeah,
Imagine you ordered like you called for some weed and he just pulls up with like PCP cigarettes. That's all I had, bro.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's like conceding to a new drug, or like conceding to a new relationship or something. That's like a bad version of what I'm talking about. But a good
Okay.
version would be
So
would be what I said before. So yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. Um, all right, I'll give you one of the few like I'll preface it with the general message I feel like I'm receiving, and then give you a scenario, and I'll ask how you would respond.
Got it. Ready.
Um, I feel like I'm receiving from what I'll call the universe, in interest of everybody watching, um, a message saying, good standards and high standards and unreasonably high standards are great, but at this point in your life, you've only been holding yourself to them for X amount of time, so you can't expect it of other people, even if you think you should, because you expect it of yourself.
Okay. Is that?
It's like saying, I just got an iPhone 14. Everybody I talk to should have an iPhone 14 now.
But you just got one.
Right.
So I don't. Yeah.
I feel like the message I'm receiving is that it's an unrealistically high expectation in the moment. It's not like there will be, but in this moment, I think that's the message I'm receiving, is that my expectations in various realms of my life are justifiably high because they should be there, but I'm almost like skipping what I deserve right now for what I want to be at.
Yeah, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. Damn, dude. Yeah, I did that a lot, and all it ends in is, for me, I had to like go up and then fall back to realize, and then do it all over again. I don't think that you have to do that, but I think that I can speak really well to this point because I did it, because I was extremely humbled. I went from driving like nice car and having the nice house and all that stuff, and then I went to like a 900 square foot apartment driving a $750 car I got off Craigslist, and I literally didn't have any friends anymore. And it was like, not because of the car, but like it at that point in my life, I was humbled by the fact that like I hadn't put in all the work that I needed to yet. But I like kind of forced it by painting a pretty picture to other people, but I wasn't there. Like behind closed doors, I wasn't there yet. I wasn't there emotionally. I wasn't there mentally. I wasn't there financially. There was a lot of aspects to my life where I wanted to be at a level that expectation wise of just like lifestyle and like accountability, all these things. I had like a super high standard for people, and I found people that had those standards, but I found that those types of people that kept that level of expectation all the time were extremely alienating to other people, to normal people. The only type of people that flies around, like that people that like that, I guess is another way to put it, is like hardcore entrepreneurs that are just into like hustling. Like that's the type of mindset of a hustler. But I think that at the end of the day, it's actually kind of nice when you are able to let go of any sort of expectation of not only other people but yourself, because who are you to put expectations on even yourself at this point? Because you saw someone else achieve it and now you have to achieve it? I don't think that we're put on this earth to do anything except for live, and what we do with that life is up to you, and whatever you make important is important to you, and that's all that matters. And I think that if you can just like fall into that mindset and stay there, you're going to live a pretty good life. But that also could be perceived as like, oh, well, you don't really have to try. You can just kind of like skate through life, which is what most people do. And again, that's fine. But for kind of what you're talking about, I think it's important to go through the period of kind of like what you deserve, as you put. I think that, well, man, it's different too, because I think that it's going to depend on the situation as well. But I think that that's where you find out, and I think you're figuring it out now, is you're seeing where the limit is of your expectations, right? And that's going to be determined by your circle and where you go.
Yes. Okay, you get it. It's more I don't think you kind of assess what we're talking about here. I don't think that I necessarily am okay. Well, I am being alienating, and this is what I realized. So the specific example I was going to bring up was going to be like my videographer guys, they always get me everything. Everything looks wonderful. It's almost always right on time, or like that bothers me because I'm treating this like a business, and I don't, in my head, I don't have a lot of artists aren't strict with this type of shit because they don't really believe that they deserve to make it, in my opinion. I think
Strict with what you mean, like
like
timing?
like a release deadline, or like holding themselves to a standard a label might.
Hmm.
I do that automatically because I don't expect
Yeah.
anything less.
Shit, that's hard, man. So, this is gonna sound really bad to some people, but it's what I needed to hear, and it's what some other people need to hear. Um, you get what you pay for, and at the end of the day, you. I think you already know the answer to this question that you've asked,
Mm-hmm.
but you just kind of it's nice to hear other people's perspectives for sure. But when you
Mm-hmm.
have expectations on on a creative, especially, I
Right.
think it comes down to your willingness to settle versus your willingness to go above and beyond. But you have to understand that the higher you go, the more sacrifice it's going to take from you, whether it be more money, more time, or it's who knows, they might expect more from you than you expect from them. And now the tables are going to be turned. Like, you think you have high expectations, wait till you get with a company that has higher expectations. They've got 30 of you on deck and they don't give a shit unless you perform at this level. That I'm not saying that you're
Right.
doing, I'm just saying as an artist, right? Like, if you're, you really have to assess, and this is where self awareness comes in, and I think this is where a lot of artists can grow. I mean, I'm still growing in this area, I'm always growing in this area, but having the self-awareness to know where you're at as an artist versus, like, if you've only been doing it for a year, I don't think that you have the right to expect like label level production. Like, you're out of
Mm-hmm.
your mind, it's not happening. And if it does happen, you're going to pay thousands of dollars for somebody to do that for you, or you just know somebody. We're not talking about the outliers. They're
I
like,
am though.
but my friend, my cousin's is producer, and I'm a certified. What, bro? You're the outlier. Good for you.
That's the only mind fuck for me, bro. Is I am paying thousands. Like that's what bothers me.
See, okay, but that's what. Okay, then that still plays to the point that I'm saying is,
Mm-hmm.
you have to ask yourself, are you getting the value for what you're paying for? And if the answer is no, then you have to reassess that relationship, and if the expectations that you have, because when money's involved, you have more of a right to have expectations. When you first asked the question, I was kind of looking at more of it like you, a a conversation you were having with your girl, or like one of your friends, your boy was like, yo, this is fucked up, and you're like, is it though? That kind of thing. But
Yeah, yeah.
for a business decision, I absolutely think that you have to ask yourself, am I getting what I'm paying for? It's kind of like art. I think art is a good example of that as well, because when you buy art, especially like paintings and stuff that are appraised, you're paying for that because you think it's worth that. But I don't think most art is worth what people pay.
That's a good point. When the thing there is like, I have assessed it. Realistically, when I break every little facet down of it, and the thing is, I have to get very specific to justify it. But when I do, it is worth what I'm paying for. And it comes down to the minute details of it. That's the thing.
So I think you wish you were getting more for what you're paying for, but like you
Mm-hmm.
said, when you really break it down to if you were to
Mm-hmm.
do it yourself, and then you
Mm-hmm.
add the time that they've put in their craft, and if you were in their seat, like that kind of thing, you really, again, it comes down, I don't know their whole backstory, obviously you know a lot more than I do, but let's say that if they've been at their craft for like 30 years versus somebody who's only been at it for 5, and who's serious versus somebody who just does it because they're good at it, I think that there's a level of expectation that you as a client have for them, but it's also one of those things you have to ask yourself is, was this discussed on the front end, and was the expectation set, and have you set those expectations now if you didn't talk about them previously, because every relationship can grow as long as you communicate and set those expectations. And like you're asking, are you settling if you have this expectation? Well, I guess that's going to depend on if they're willing to do it. If they're willing to do it for what you're paying for, it's not settling because you don't have to. But I think if you're not satisfied with the quality of work that you're getting from any type of service, regardless of the relationship, if they're not willing to meet your expectations and they're pretty within reason, like if they're not outrageous, and what's outrageous, you're a well-rounded, intelligent individual. But I think that what I'll end this with is it's important to just ask yourself, like, do you feel like you're getting the value? Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Like, I could tell you what something is worth to me, but it wouldn't mean that it's worth that to you. And if you're not, at the end of the day, if you're not happy with your brand, it's your brand. Like, you have to be happy with it. And if it costs more money, and if you have to break off a relationship, or if it costs less money, but it's painful because you have to switch, it's one of those things in life where is the pain of same more than the pain of change? Like, if the pain of change hurts more than the pain of same, then it makes more sense to just stay where you're at. But if it hurts more where you're at than it would be to leave, then it's time to go.
You were right. I know the answer. I've pushed my I shot for the stars, landed on the moon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And rather than being just content with the moon, I think I expected the star. I didn't expect them, but I was like, I'm not gonna stop till I hit the stars. And I'm just like, I feel like I was on this rocket, and then I actually hit the moon, and I was like, oh, this is how much fuel I had. I need to refuel here. I didn't have enough to get where I was trying to go.
Yep. Yep.
So that's realistically, I think, where I am in pretty much every facet. But you're right. It does help to talk about it with somebody like this. But
it's only natural, and I think that most, if not all, creative and aggressively entrepreneurial people go through, where it's delusion at the end of the day, and it's a healthy delusion because I think that's required as an artist to make it. You have to be delusional. That's a given about yourself. Like, you have to think that you're the best, regardless of if you are or not, while still remaining humble enough to know that you're not. Yeah. It's like a weird paradox.
Yeah. It's funny because it's like, you're right. It's that healthy delusion. But when I think, bro, talking with you helps so much. When I think about what I was looking at this career choice as last year this time, right? Like, bro, I was in the middle of organizing cinematic last year this time.
That's so crazy, dude. What a change! Oh my god! Wow. Okay.
Right. So when I think about that, and I have over the last month or so, but that was like me being the opposite of where I am now. That was no delusion involved. I'm setting the lowest bar for myself and then seeing how far above it I can go. Which is, I think, the coward's way of going about it.
I think so too. I think it's having a plan B and kind of you're sandbagging. It's entering a amateur's tournament as a pro.
Sure. Yeah, it's a good way to look at it. And then I reverse engineered my entire fucking mentality by the time this year started, and it's been the opposite since then. It's been like, okay, convince yourself you can be up here, and then just go, just shoot.
Yep.
You know.
Just
and I feel like even in the moments where I might have seen the moon and been like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get all the way up. I didn't feel. I by that time I was so into the delusion of it that I'm looking at the moon, looking at my gas tank on E. Fuck it, I'm gonna go. You know, but it's funny because this is exactly kind of what this is what makes sense. This is what is supposed to happen, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah.
Um, and it's almost, you know, like I said, when I look at last year, it the moon feels a lot better. But at the same time, it's like I don't want to just be okay with it, and I'm not okay with it. But
Well, I mean, you kind of have to be at a certain point because you don't have a choice, and that's kind of where
yeah,
life. So life is gonna give you opportunities. Life is gonna You're gonna go back and forward and up and down. Like you've seen it before that people think that success looks like this, but it looks like this, like that
right.
bullshit. And it's true, but I think that it's even more important to be proud of yourself where you're at, and I think that this is why it's important to celebrate victories, no matter how big or small, along the way, because it makes the journey worth it when you don't put off the celebration of your accomplishments until you reach the big goal. Because cinematic, huge accomplishment, where you were, everything you've done from then on has been huge. Like it's been like we talked about last stream, it's been a level up from where you were that month prior,
Yeah,
that quarter
yeah,
prior.
yeah.
So, I mean, that in itself is a win, but it's also being at a point where I think you said, yeah, you said it earlier, but I don't know if you were referring to that, but you were talking about a plateau. And I think that's exactly what this is in terms
Yeah.
of like conceptually, because the plateau itself is totally not only common, but I think necessary in an artist's journey. Because if you're constantly going up, I don't think you ever have time to really develop at that level.
Mm,
So the people that are overnight successes and celebrities or whatever, I think that that's why there's a sharp up and down, because if
mm,
you've only equipped yourself to handle a career of X amount of followers and X amount of responsibilities as an artist, it
mm-hmm.
can quickly crumble, especially if you're not mentally or emotionally prepared for that type of like rise. So to back to your space analogy, if like you're shooting for the start, you're shooting for Mars or and beyond, and you get to the
Mm-hmm.
moon, like if you would have kept going and you didn't take time to like understand what your ship was doing or the rocket was doing around the moon and you just sent it, there's a high probability that you're gonna end up dying and that like fizzle
Right.
out and all that stuff. And it's like, is it worth it to on that percentage chance that you keep going? Yeah, you're probably going to make it to the next planet, but what about after that? It's almost like when are you going to stop and say, okay, I did it, and let's explore this planet for a second. Like let's, but also not forget that there's other planets, right? So it's almost like a like when you're on a road trip and you get out at a rest stop, like you know that you're not stopping there forever, but it's okay to take a minute to like use a claw machine and like have some fun or
Yeah.
make a phone call or like smoke a cigarette, like whatever, do the thing, like take a little bit of time to enjoy the time where you're at, but then know that you're still on a road trip and you have places to be. So
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a way to enjoy the present while still being appreciative of your past and excited about your future.
It does make me happy though that like because I feel like the level of messaging that I've got as far as from the universe, from various things going on in my life, from really everything when I just kind of allow the universe to speak to me and don't push it away, you know, confirms my delusion, which is why this makes me more angry than it should.
Wait, in a good way or a bad way, it confirms your delusion? What do you
In a
mean?
good way. In a good way.
Okay.
It says, oh, Mars, keep going,
Yeah.
you know. But that's again why I'm like, what the fuck am I doing on the moon, you know? But
Yeah.
it's like you said, it's that weird balance of like knowing where you deserve or where you will be, where you're capable, what your capabilities are, and then also accepting what the current situation is.
It's super easy
Yeah.
is to get in this mindset, especially when you have big growth and big leaps, and like every single week is like this new thing and this new level up, and you're like, yeah, I'm kicking ass, and then you have like a week of the same, and you're like, all right, that's okay, we're gonna keep going. working out is a really good example. Everybody has their workout plateau where you just stop getting bigger, you stop seeing results, and you're like, I'm doing the same thing. And it's like, okay, well, first off, you have to change it up, or you're going to get the same
Right.
results. Secondly, have you taken a week off? Like, have you rested and taken time to give your body nutrition? Have you taken time to hone your form on the workouts that you're currently doing before working on new workouts? I mean, not to say that you're not good at what you're doing, but I think it's important to also understand that there's probably a reason why the universe is pushing back. I look at it, this
Absolutely.
very often with like leaving my house. Like, I don't get upset when I'm delayed because that's probably the reason that I'm still here now. That kind of thing. Like, it's important to
Yeah.
trust
Yeah. Yeah.
the flow, or else go if you try to go against it, good luck, man. It's like trying to stand still in a lazy river. If you've ever been in a lazy river and try to put your feet down and stand, good luck, bro. You're gonna get slammed, or you're gonna have like blistery feet because you're just gonna get
Right.
pushed. But it's not that hard to go down a lazy river. You just have to like go with it. And I know that's such a cheesy relation to life, but that's literally how I've gotten the most, maybe not the most like highs, if you will. I don't get the most like, yeah, like victory, like, yeah, like grind, like that victory grind, like every, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like that level of a high, I want to say, but I get more, it's more fulfilling, and it's more overall wholesome of an achievement feeling at the end of the day. But but like I said, it's a lot less of a high, but it's like the difference between eating candy versus eating like good food for you. Like candy, dude, you're
I
like,
absolutely
yes.
understand.
But food, you're like, oh, this is not as fun. But then when you're done eating it, you're like, I feel good though. I feel good about that decision.
That's a great one, bro. I think you're absolutely right, and I like everything you just said, especially the honing your form in the workout. I think that's crucial to where I am right now. Really, with everything, it's like I absolutely know what I should be doing, what I'm capable of, and what I can do, and it's just a matter of me accepting the fact that for me to hit this next level, so to speak, I need to be you're never gonna get that six pack if you keep eating fat burger. Like I have to just stop. I went from, okay, I want a six pack. I'm gonna stop eating fat burger. I'm gonna start eating Chick-fil-A. You know what I mean? And now I have to say, okay, maybe I get the Chick-fil-A salads. And then I think I have to go that way, because sometimes jumping from like, okay, I'm gonna go from Chick-fil-A to Maestro's Steakhouse. Like, no, relax.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy too. Like when you jump like that, you're like, whoa, okay, I get where you're coming from, but like, chill,
Yeah.
bro. You gotta
Right.
take baby steps, or maybe
And you
not
can't.
baby
And
steps.
most of the time, you can't. Like your life and your whatever situation, you can't do it. Like I can't afford Maestros all the time. So I think that's kind of what I'm being told right now is like, okay, if you really want that six pack, you're plateauing. You look good. Fucking, you've been doing Chick-fil-A and you look that good. All right, bro, you're killing it. But like, imagine if you just settle down and like, you know what, I'm a eat the bullet and say, you know what, I should start eating these salads. I know I'm not doing enough. I know I have to concede to the greens. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
know it's better for me, even though it feels like it doesn't taste as good. And Maestros would be better and taste better. But this stage right now is like, fuck it, I just got to do this.
Yeah. Living outside of your means, not just financially, but in senses of like the universe, and like just trying to live outside of where your flow is.
Mhm.
It's exhausting, but it's also not as fulfilling as it is when you know that this is what you're supposed to
Should
be
be doing.
doing. Yeah,
Right.
like this is when you're it's oh my god, I'm having so many images of myself flash through my head right now of just like what I really wanted to be, which is me right now. Crazy part is it's me right now.
Mm.
But back then I wasn't there. I didn't have the wisdom. I didn't have the humility. I didn't have the emotional fortitude. I didn't have the communication skills. I had none of it.
Right.
So why did I think that I was at the level where I could responsibly handle all of the things that are required in order to be there? Like I wasn't there yet. I was actually an imposter, not just imposter syndrome. I was living out a life that I hadn't quite built into. It's like trying to enter a bodybuilder competition when you just started working out. It's like, dude, you're gonna hurt yourself, and you end up hurting yourself, whether it's emotionally. Because here's the thing, you're either gonna there's so many different not bad, but not good things that could happen. You could do what's up?
You just hit home. The bodybuilder shit, I'm like, yeah, you're going to hurt yourself, bro.
You are, yeah. There's so many things that you're going to end up doing if you put yourself in situations where you're outside of yourself and your zone, like your lane, so to speak, is not just physically, but financially, of course, that's an obvious one. But it's not something that you're going to get satisfaction from at the end of the day. I think candy is such a good analogy because candy really does, like sweets in general, that really does give you that like satisfaction, but then you always want more. It's never that satisfying, and you don't actually feel as good as you did before you actually consumed it. Like before you did all that, you don't feel that good. So it's really easy to and that's the shortcut, right? And I think that you understanding that it takes work, but also being okay with the level of results that you have now. And that also comes with a level of gratitude, because I firmly believe that if you're not grateful for what you currently have, then you're not allowing the universe to put more into your life. Because if
100%.
If you
100%.
I think the best way that I've tell it to myself, and I have to get really strong with myself, but I'll say like, what if you only got to keep what you were grateful for yesterday? Like, shit.
I thought I was good at this shit. Okay. No, that's a fire one.
Yeah, that one haunts me sometimes because I am not grateful sometimes.
Writing that shit down. Damn.
You're welcome. I got some fun stuff to say, but yeah, again, I didn't have any of these levels of understanding. I didn't have this type of perception of life, and I thought I should have all this stuff that requires that level of perception, requires that level of understanding of life. Like, hey, life's not fair, but you got to also understand that life can be advantageous for you if you understand the game you're playing. First, understand the game and understand that life's not fair, but you also have to understand that what you put into it is what you get out. And if you're able to take your emotions out of it and stop telling yourself where you should be and be okay with where you're at, then you'll go further than you would have been had you focused on the end goal the whole time, whatever you want to say.
I don't disagree. I do practice what you're preaching. It's just the way you put it was fire. But I feel it. I understand.
Sometimes
I had this conversation with are you familiar with the book Crime and Punishment?
I haven't read it, but I'm familiar with it.
So I had this conversation with a friend who's actively reading it. I'm not, but he sent me some pages, and he. I'm going to be paraphrasing, but it's like the gist of what we spoke about. He's basically saying or the book is saying, and he's agreeing with that. Hit a couple points. Like, a great man requires great suffering to be literally great, i.e. a Genghis Khan type of great, but that doesn't necessarily mean healthy, as far as spiritually and the rest of it,
Right.
And also there's varying levels of that greatness and pursuit of it. Because we are both firsthand practicers and witnesses of pursuing a goal to the point of unhealthy lifestyle, right?
Right.
And then you're forced to balance. But then when you look at a Genghis Khan, none of that lifestyle is healthy. But he changed the world, maybe for the better, maybe for the worse. But he made such a tremendous impact, whether it was good or bad. He made such a tremendous impact, and doing something like that cannot synonymous. You can't also get up and meditate and drink your morning tea and like do all this shit, because there's no time, so you can't be as grateful.
Okay, yeah, I know
Because
exactly.
you literally have to be like this constantly to set a Genghis Khan type of, you have to be.
Oh, dude, you're hitting on such a point. So like that's absolutely possible, and that is something that I see people do, and I personally thought I could do. But
Mhm.
what I have to realize, and what I think a lot of people have to realize, is that what you just said, that's the sacrifice that you have to give up to have that level of impact. And that's why if you want to have a huge impact, you have to be willing to give up a lot of your uh, life, like simple pleasures. Like you have to be willing to
Right.
give up simple pleasures, and that's one of those things that I personally believe that life is made of. So I wouldn't give that up for that level of impact, because I don't want to put, I don't have that level of calling to make that level of
Right.
impact.
That's my point, right? So it's like, or that was the point of the book, and the point he said, and the point I agree with. But like, and he's the same way. He's like, I don't want to impact the world. I care about myself and my family and my friends.
Yeah.
So I'm okay. Like, because I basically challenged his point with, like, he was like, great men have to do this, and I was like, okay, but I think it's also healthy to be able to like chill on a beach and smoke a joint. And he's like, I don't disagree, but I also don't want to change the world.
Yeah, exactly. So like
You know,
if that's what you want to do, then that's what you're going to do. And it goes back to what I was saying before, is like life is what you make it. And I find that we as humans love to complicate it and be like, no, but what's the meaning of life? What do you think the meaning of life is? What's the meaning of your life is the question you need to ask yourself. Forget the
yeah,
meaning
facts.
of life itself. It doesn't matter. Life itself is to procreate, if you really want to get down to it. And scientifically, we're just here to keep it going. Just keep on keeping on, but whatever. That's it. And whatever you do with your time here is completely up to you. I learned this through life lessons, but also through the book of it's called like Unfuck Yourself. Hold on. The subtle art of unfucking yourself, or something like that. It basically like helps you to focus on what matters most in life. It just we as society, we are programmed to like be driven to like try and achieve all these great things. But like, bro, if your bills are paid and you can eat when you want, sleep when you want, and
Right.
like do what you want with the majority of your time, like you win, dude. You don't have to keep going. If you want to, go for it, bro. But I think a lot of people forget that if you want to make 100K the right way, and okay, not the right way, sorry. There are millions of ways to do it. I'm not even gonna say anything about the right way. If you want to do it ethically, is what I'll say.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, you're gonna have to give up like a family. You're gonna have to give up a lot of time. Like you're not just gonna get 100K consecutively or beyond, like millions of. You're not gonna get a million. That's for damn sure, without
Mhm.
giving up a lot. And like you're saying, like that level of impact, that's where that level of payment comes from. And I think a lot of us have this skewed idea that you can be a high level achiever and impactor at that level and beyond, and not
Right.
give up at least a third of your life, if not more.
Sure. But I think, yeah. You're not wrong. But I think that's the whole argument, like, for what we'll call, for the sake of simplifying it, loving what you do. Because then your life can become the thing that brings that impact, and you can end up enjoying it without, like, I personally feel as if I enjoy what I do, both for money and what pays me right now and what doesn't pay me right now. I enjoy all of it. Some of it I love more, which is why I'm doing the music at the capacity I am. Um, but it's not like I'm either mopping floors or doing music. It's like my thing is right here, and then my music is right here. So I'm just like, okay, I made the decision. This is the thing I'm gonna not, really go for, but I'm not letting go of this until this is here for me.
Which is
Financially.
smart. Yeah, that's the smart way to go about it. You're not backing yourself into a corner like some people do, which again, it comes down to your life and your choice. Like some people need to back themselves into a corner. If you're motivated that way, then burn the ship. But if you can be fulfilled by the level of achievement that you've done while still maintaining the other thing that you do, I think that's a win too. Again, it really does come down to if you're happy.
That's me choosing. That's me choosing. On a macro scale, that's me choosing health over impact.
Yep.
But I'm also not. But both of those things, which arguably make up 80% of my life, if not more, lead to impact.
Yeah. And
see what I'm saying?
you can't really be the one that says how big your impact is going to be. And that's where I think that the thing is it's the difference between taking steroids and just working out a lot. Like I think that there are people that just have to have it now versus in the future. And I think that all of us will get there if we put in the time. But I think that, but to your point, is if you take the time to just enjoy the life that you're living, and like you said, bring value to the activities that you're doing that bring value to you, like it's a give and take, I think that you absolutely can, and I think you will have an impact that's large. It's also going to be a much slower growth, and I think it'll be a lot longer road. I know that's kind of the same thing, but timing, and it's going to be a windier road. There's going to be a lot more challenges to it because you're not shortcutting it. You're leaving it to the universe. You're leaving it to the word of mouth. You're leaving it to the chance, because that's what it is at the end of the day, right? If you're not working and you're only doing music full time, that is putting more opportunities for that chance to happen, for you to make a bigger impact as a musician. But like you said, you make an impact in both of your lanes. So as do I. Like I make an impact at my job, and I also make an impact in music. I also make impacts elsewhere. But to the point of, if you're in the same area and you're making an impact in all areas of your life, or all areas where you spend a majority of your time, that can lead to, and often does lead to, a level of impact. It just doesn't lead. It's like the difference between a $250,000 and $150,000. It's like, is it really that big of a difference? Personally, I don't think so. Like if someone's like $250,000 or $150,000, it's like it's a difference of $100,000, but you already have $100,000. So
not even at $70,000. So.
Math is math, but regardless, it's not that big of a. It's not.
I'm dumb. I'm sorry. You so right.
I was like, where did the 75 come from? What the fuck? Oh shit. Anyway, good thing we're not scientists.
That is so wild.
You're like, stop. Hold up. Wait a minute. Rewind. I'm dumb as shit.
Oh no.
Oh Lord. Just made another one. Shit. That threw me off, man. No, I got it now. Okay, so for real though, I think the point is you're gonna have an impact. It just won't be like that big. But like if that's not your thing, then who cares? Just be happy with that and know that it's coming, and like that delusion is still there. Figure out what gets you through it and just keep doing that thing, man. Because otherwise you'll just be sad. And you hate your life, and don't do that because that's not fun.
I also feel like, to expand upon that, or to just kind of agree and trampoline off of it, like I think everybody to a certain degree can make a great impact on their own life and potentially the life of their loved ones as well, while also being ethical and healthy. I think there is the impact that expands beyond that, to where you're making a genuine, whether it be financial or spiritual or physical impact on the masses, we could say, to a substantial degree, not just, for example, in my lane, like, oh, I like his song, I'm gonna turn up one night. But like, if somebody listens to my music and decides to like fucking start working out because they're motivated by it, like that type of impact comes from a certain level of dedication that, yeah, definitely requires more put in. Which is why, that's the lane where I care more about having an impact. And when one lane, when it this is a whole other conversation, but I've noticed one of these little messages I'm getting from the universe that, they don't necessarily come with a timeline on them, but they come with a warning that it's not going to be 20 years from now. Like this is going to be in your face sooner than later type of message.
Confirmations of your vision.
Yes and no. It was a confirmation of a risk that I'm going to have to take, and what in black and white terms, what the options look like. And they won't be black and white when I'm looking at them, but I'm looking at them from a distance now, so it looks black and white. But it's basically like I almost know I'm gonna get to a certain point where music is paying me something. My other lane is paying me more than that. Music has the potential to pay me substantially more than that other lane if I take X, Y, and Z moves, and maybe there's a few uncertainties there, but I see potential. In the same vein, I saw the NFT potential.
Yep.
I'm gonna have a lot to lose in that decision, and I kind of already know that because I've been made aware that I'm not the type of person in this world who's able to make decisions like, oh, I have nothing to lose, let me go for it. Like I almost, at least in my adult life, because I don't, because I hold myself to a certain standard, I'm always gonna have something to lose. I'm not gonna be like, whatever you consider the lowest rung of society in mental health and physical health, and then say, oh, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna go better myself. Like I'm always gonna have something that requires a sacrifice, I think. But to shorten what I'm saying, I'm gonna come to this point where I have to make that decision, and the decision is gonna be out of love or fear. And if I choose fear, I'm gonna have a good life. And if I choose love, I'm going to risk having an amazing one and giving my people an amazing one. But the risk is also, falling below what that good life could have been.
So that's where faith comes in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've repeatedly been telling myself since I was little, I'm going to make that decision in the way of faith and love. And even now I'm like staring at it, not in the face yet, but in the silhouette of it, and I'm saying, I know how it's going to feel. No, I don't. I know what it could feel like because I'm on my way to it. It's not so misty anymore. And I'm like, I damn near sit and pray every day now. I'm like, you're going to make that decision. You're going to be strong enough to make that decision, because that's what I've done all of this for.
Yeah, I mean, so, it's that feeling right before you go out on stage where you're like, God, can I really do this? Like, is this really what I'm about to do? And then you do it and you're like, this is terrifying. I want to puke. And then you go through it and then you're like, damn it, that was worth it. But I hated the whole experience. Yeah, but we do have 3 tracks. I just wanted to bring it back. But I think that you've really touched on a very valuable point, is that it's important to be okay with where you're at, but also have the faith that you need to, and a little bit of the delusion to make it, because that's your path. And it really does come down to you knowing your path and your lanes and seeing it and going another level up. It's about seeing that from a perspective that allows you to understand what you're going through, not just from the trees, but from the forest. Like you're seeing it from more than one perspective, which allows you to make that educated, logical decision around, okay, I'm going to have to make this decision. Whereas some people would know they have to make it, but consciously block it out because it's going to hurt and you don't want to deal with that, and it's coming. But I think a really good example of this is, I heard a comedian, Bill Burr, talk about this. He said he had to give his dog away and he knew it was coming. And a week before he had to give the dog away, his wife every night was like crying in the bathroom, just like feeling really upset, spending time with the dog, but just like really, really mourning the fact that they were having to give this dog away. And he was like, "What are you crying about? The dog's here. Like, enjoy the time with the dog." And she's just like, "I'm really upset, but I want to process this now and get through it." And he was just like, "That's dumb." And then as soon as he gave the dog away, he crumbled because he hadn't allowed himself to be upset and allowed himself to like go through that and like prepare himself for that pain. He blocked it out the whole time. Even though we all know it's going to suck, you just kind of block it out and you're like, no, it's fine. Right now it's fine. It's a happy time, you know? But having the self-awareness and the mental just foresight to be able to look ahead and go, I already know I have to make this decision. I don't know what the decision is going to be particularly, or even if you do, you don't know what the circumstances are going to be at the time you have to make that decision, all of them at least. So knowing that and trusting that is really where that leap of faith comes in. And I think that it comes with a level of faith, but also a level of experience that you're applying to this decision, because you've made risks before and you're applying all of that into this calculation, which is why I think that it's not as risky as it might seem from the outside, because you've gone through the NFT losses, you've gone through the other losses in life, you've gone, like, just think about what you've gone through so far to get to where you're at and what you've already gone through and how it compares to what you're going to have to go through. And oftentimes it's either not as bad or just at the level of where you perceive it, and then it ends up not being that big of a deal, and it's a level up anyway. Like, it's gonna hurt because the gym always does hurt, but you already know the results because you've seen them, whether it be in your vision or in like your premonitions, or you've seen other people have them and you know it's possible. So yeah, I say
to that point is one of the things, and we can play the tracks after this, but one of the things that I think I heard Kevin Hart say that, and it kind of, like, I didn't quite understand how it would relate to my life until I felt the things I'm feeling now, and I understand it very clearly. But he basically said, he had like this minimum wage job, and he was also doing stand-up any chance he could. And one night he got some opportunity to work at this, or not work at this club, but go perform at this club, like 4 nights out of the week. And every night he went up there, he was going to get $50. So he had $200 a week now from comedy, right? Quit his job as soon as he got $200 a week from comedy.
Shit.
The next week, the club shut down.
Yep, that's what happens.
And so I almost, like, I'm not living Kevin's life. I don't know what's going to happen when I make that choice, but he made that choice and stuck with it. Even in the face of, I made the choice and I was wrong, he stuck with it.
Yep. And that's the faith part. That's like, even though everything around me says this is crazy, it's not working, I know it's going to work. It's just a matter of getting through it and knowing and being okay with the fact that it might suck for a little bit. And and being okay with the fact that you don't know when it's going to get better, but knowing that it will get better, and that's all that matters.
Right.
But yeah, that's awesome, man. I really enjoyed that conversation.
Definitely, bro. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got in the book.
All right. So first things first, we have a remix, and then we have an original, and then we have a beat. I don't know. I'm gonna play the beat first, but let me first share
A remix of what?
What do you mean? Like, what genre?
No, is it?
It's a remix, so we don't have any. I don't think we have it. It's just people's track submissions for feedback.
Okay. So it just says remix on it.
Well, one is a remix of Nightmare, which is a producer DJ that I follow. Hold on. Oh shit. I don't know if that worked or not. Anyway. Okay, so I need to share. I was bidding on something on eBay and I just fucking lost.
Damn it.
By 50 cents. You're a son of a bitch. I fucking hate that. I got beat. It's okay. It wasn't meant for me. Yeah, here we go. I'm gonna play it now. Oh, you can't hear it though.
I cannot. How dare you distract me?
Alright, here we go. No, I want to do applications. Oh, okay. I guess that's the right one. Okay. There. Okay.
There we go.
You know, say you are the reason why I'm living now.
It's Chilo.
Let me call you my baby, call me up. Boo, boo, boo. You know why the baby get to wash me bound. Oh yeah, down, 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 down. You see me see true love, the great Adam. Come on, baby, let me rule. Let me show you how to get down. Let me call you my baby, call me your boo 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 boo. Be my girl. Let me call you my baby, call me your boo boo boo. Baby, be my girl. Let me call you my baby, call me your boo boo boo. Be my girl. Let me call you my baby, call me your boo boo. Baby, follow me, follow me. Let me follow you, follow you. She dey carry me go. Ọmọ yẹn she follow me, follow me. Ọmọ yẹn she pa mi o. She eye like pa mi o. Wetin you give me chop oh, this one I love. I go show you to mommy o.
What are you laughing at?
No, that was just hilarious. He goes, "Let me follow you, baby, follow me." I don't know who to follow. I'm like, all right.
That's actually funny. Yeah, I mean, so I wanted there to be like I say this a lot now, but it's something that I'm noticing, obviously. I wanted there to be a drop. Like I was expecting, there was such a build, and then it was just kind of like a breakdown. Like there was no drop, there was no like, I don't know. I just felt like it was missing like maybe not a chorus per se, but I felt like it was missing like a hook, like that one piece that was like the repeatable part of a song. Because if you want a song to be good, there should be like a repeatable part.
I mean, he definitely repeated that one thing though, constantly.
Well, no, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like the part that repeats itself outside of that. So another thing to your point is I think that it's important to be more into storytelling. But I'm also not an avid listener of this style of music, so I can't say that like that's not what they all do. But me personally, I would have liked to have heard a more in-depth personal story, just because I feel like, and I don't know, maybe it's just because my interests are different, but I feel like there could have been more visual storytelling in that, just to like, what's the girl look like? Like why are we following her? Why do I care about this girl? Is she hot, or does she have a fat ass? Like, what is it? Does she have a great person?
At least tell me.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know why you're excited. Like, I don't have to be excited, but I just want to know why you're excited. Like, you clearly like this person. You're singing about a person that you feel some type of way about. So let me know why.
Right.
Or I mean, you don't have to tell me why, but like, tell me about the time you met, or like add more to the story so that I can be invested. Because otherwise, I'm like, I don't feel that excited about pretty much anything.
For me listening, well, I mean, before I got the chance to really listen all the way through and think about storytelling or think about anything of that nature, because I agree with Rooks there. People tend to shit on auto-tune artists because they're like, oh, it's not real singing. It's not easy to do, to make auto-tune work in your favor. A lot of guys will use auto-tune, or girls will use auto-tune and still sound shitty because they're just rapping, or they're just doing some bullshit, or they're like half singing, and it's not like it's, you know, the easiest thing in the world to make, to even find the pocket of that note, you know. So I want to commend him for that, because the song sounded good.
Agreed.
I agree though that, you know, I wasn't too invested in it, and like after maybe 30 seconds I stopped being interested in the song because it wasn't really talking about anything. And I feel like you also maybe should have written something more. I get the impression this was like you just punched something in, or you just went in the studio and said, fuck it, brothers, put on a beat. It came out, again, sounding good, but to somebody who is around music more often than not, I'm just not as impressed as maybe somebody who isn't. because somebody who isn't would be like, oh, this is a good song. Da, da, da. I just look a little deeper into it, and so does our friend here. But
I agree with you.
What would you tell him to go focus on, like in his next track?
So if you're just I don't want to say just, if you're the vocalist and not also the producer, I would say definitely focus on more. It didn't have to necessarily be storytelling, but just focus on more content in terms of your lyrics. I'd like to hear more than just the same 5 sentences, if that. Yeah, that was what I was focusing. And if you're the producer, I would focus on building more structure in it in terms of like the hook and like the chorus and the breakdown and stuff. It just felt very like it just needed more. Like it needed a lot more. Not a lot more, but it needed more time invested. Like that's like a demo, I guess is a good way to put it. Which I guess this is this is what it is. So if this is not finished, I'd love to hear it when it's finished. But if this is if it is finished, then I would focus on the next track and work on the content and all that stuff. So yeah, thanks for submitting. I think it's great. Let me see who this was by Taj, or it's produced by Taj. I think that's the. Okay, that's the producer. TAJ is the producer. Heyo Sam is the person. I don't know if that's the artist name, but that's what I'm gathering. Yeah, Heyo is the name of the artist. Heyyo. Awesome. Thanks, Heyo. Appreciate it. Excited to hear more. All right, and then the next one we have is Manny B. He submits every week so far, so I'm excited to hear this one. If I haven't already. What? I have to log into Spotify? I hate Spotify. Why? Spotify be tripping, but so does Apple. Can you hear or no?
Yeah, that's not stuff.
It was loud. Hold on, let me turn that shit down. It's loud in my ears, not necessarily anyone else's. Yeah, it is hard.
You don't even know.
Hey.
You don't even know.
Tell me what I don't know.
Got the backwoods say who tryna smoke. Got the backwoods say who tryna smoke. Roll up.
I know Deuces on the beat.
Got the backwoods say who tryna smoke. Handle my shit and I keep it on the low. Always high, time move slow. Always grind, nigga, you know. Got some GG4 mixed with a little bit of wedding cake. Make a nigga wanna eat a whole plate.
Let's go.
Only got zips, what's an eighth?
What's an eighth?
Nigga roll up the Mac 10. In the cup relaxing, take a break relapsing. Here we go back in, no I ain't passing. Never catch me lacking. You don't even know. You don't even know. You don't even know. Find it swimming, find it sweet, find it on the west coast. You don't even know. You don't even know. You don't even know. Find it swimming, find it sweet, find it on the west coast. You don't even know. You don't even know. You don't even know. Find it swimming, find it sweet, find it on the west coast. Hey, got some chocolate OG. Mix it with the sour D's like give it by the
I love how.
never rob a QP, cause you know the police.
I'll wait.
1, 2, 3. One bong rip, let it sit. Niggas gon' feel this, no tapping out, bitch. Don't quit, high coming like a blitz. Fever got the bitch do a split. Nigga, get out the way. I'm high off that lemon haze. Mama thought this was a phase. Man, I forgot my way. Now I'm rolling Mary Jane. Now I'm rolling up J's. You don't even know. You don't even know. You don't even know. Find this woman, find this weed. You find it on the west coast.
God damn, dude.
That was tough.
That was fire. That was really, really good. I think I was supposed to mute you, though, when I did that, because I think it's playing back through there. But whatever. Anyway, that was sick. I love that.
I knew from the first 10 seconds he was on the West Coast. I'm going to take a guess and say he's in Los Angeles. But he could be anywhere, you know. Nah, but that shit was tough, bro. I think, okay, I'm trying to put together some good criticism and some good points here. The flow is hard, but If you going for something catchy, like and vibey, right? Like the you don't even know, and like how you would hit some way, get out the way, shit like that. Like if that's the vibe you're going for, I would argue not to also throw in like the fast paced humana type stuff. Like stick. You don't have to stick to one flow, but keep it to one package, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like both ideas are tough, but like they two separate songs, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
That's cool.
But the beat was hard. If you're the producer, that's tough. If not, then tell him he did his shit. Yeah, I'm gonna let Ricks go ahead. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because not that I didn't pick up on that, but it's not something that I noticed until you pointed it out. But I think that that could be one way to look at it for sure. I personally didn't think that made, or like, I don't think that made a difference, but I'm also not a rapper or like a lyricist by nature. So I wasn't listening for that. I was listening for lyrical content, and I think lyrical content wise, nailed it. Like I related to that so well because I know all of those names that he said. I've smoked most of them. And
right.
And I like what he was like, oh, my mom thinks it's a phase. I'm like, bro, my mom totally thought this shit was a phase. She's like, you're doing drugs. And now I go to Colorado and smoke out there. And it's like, not a phase, mom. But yeah, I totally love the vibe. I love the message. But I can see where you're coming from and how it almost like, it's like, oh yeah, smoking that weed, get chill. But wake up, we got to go. We're going for a run, dog. Let's go. And then you're like, whoa, dog, I just lit the blunt. I can't, we're not running nowhere, dog. But again, I didn't notice it, so I don't think it was like jarring of any kind, but I think that the feedback you gave is valuable in terms of challenging your creative self.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think he's fire, bro. I think he, like, I'd be curious to know how he packaged the song. Like, if he put it out any type of way, or if he felt like it was one type of vibe that maybe I wouldn't have thought of, or something of that nature.
Yeah, like maybe a perspective that we're not thinking of, like going for a message of like maybe when you are grinding and also trying to vibe, like you're vibing, but you're like on the way to deliver a package type shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're in a hurry, but you're vibing while you're in a hurry.
I like that. Potentially. Yeah, okay. I mean, regardless, bro, you could tell we fans. So
no, it's fire shit. For me, I'm over analyzing the shit out of it. That's really that's what we're here to do. Yeah, what we're here to do. Exactly. Yeah. So definitely keep submitting, man. Manny B, MANNY with the letter B for the boy. I don't have it up, but I'm gonna pull it up real quick just so you can see it. And then
man.
Yeah. So this is the this. I almost said SoundCloud because that's what's up next. But yeah, you don't even know Manny B. Check him out on SoundCloud. Jesus Christ. Spotify.
Manny B on
Spotify. I don't listen to Spotify, but I just did, so I guess I can't say that anymore. All right. Thanks, Manny B. We got one more track. It's a remix of Nightmare and Clax the One by Nothing Else. Let me go ahead and play this. Nothing Else is the artist, and this is a remix of another producer's track. Drum and bass. This is going to be cool. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, let's go. I love that. All right, cool. That was dope. I'm pretty sure I've never heard the original, but I'm pretty sure that this artist took the vocals and that's all that they had from the original. But I could be totally wrong. But it sounded like they took the vocals and just laid out their own track underneath it, which would be
To me, I mean, as a guy who doesn't listen to EDM that much, it sounded great from.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Really, 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 really good. Good. And I said that I say that in a complimenting way because I can't tell if that's like Nightmare level. Nightmare is the artist that made it.
Yeah.
Nightmare level production, and I just can't tell because it's hard with remixes because people will sometimes like change one thing about it and it's really not that big of a change, but they're like, oh, it's my remix. It's like, you only flipped one bar. It's like, I don't think you added an extra hi-hat. You're not really like remixing it. But if this is how I think it is, which I'm gonna go listen to the original right now, but yeah, I'll be curious to see. But great job. I love how they did the I don't know what the effect is called, production wise. I should, but like a gate or transformation, where it's like the stutter effect. It's a chopping gate basically. There's a ton of ways to do it in your DAW, but I love that effect. Like, I don't think that effect is used. It's underrated. That's what I'm trying to say. Not that it's not used enough, but I think it's underrated because when it is used, it sounds so good, especially if it's done well. Like this is where I would use it. I think some people try it on tracks that don't require it, that level of like choppiness, but because this is drum and bass, it's very fast and chopped up anyway. I love drum and bass, man. I used to listen to drum and bass every single morning for, I want to say, like 10 years, man. From like 18 to probably like 28, I'd say. I listened to liquid drum and bass. I would put on the 1 to 2 hour mix. I'd start my morning, whatever it was. I would drive to work and then get to work and just have my AirPods in and just rock and roll. Well, not AirPods.
No, I don't feel this is morning music, but I can see it though. I definitely see you doing it.
Yeah, for sure. And I totally get that. But I'll also listen like Suicide Boys in the morning and stuff. It just depends on the type of vibe I'm trying to get down with. But yeah, I used to be really into I used to only listen to electronic music, if you can believe that. But now I listen to everything except for country by choice.
Yeah, I mean, especially doing this, we listen to everything. But
I just like to listen to other types of music because as a producer, it allows me to grow, and I love taking things from other styles of music and applying it to my music, even though it's not meant to. So I apply like lo-fi techniques to my dubstep, and I'll apply hip-hop techniques to my house and all that stuff. And I think that's where I think that's important. And I've had this debate on my Instagram with people. Is some people would argue you need to stay in one genre, and I would argue against that for the reason that I just said. But I've heard people argue for the other side and have good points. Like, well, if you stay in one genre, you'll get even better at it. And it's like, but I'd rather be like good at 5 genres than like really good at one genre. Like, I don't want to be the king of techno. I'd rather be like a really good DJ or a really good producer.
I get that.
But like, I totally understand that I can't touch the people who only do house or only do dubstep or only do hip hop. I can't touch that. I already know that, but I'm not trying to. Again, back to my life, not yours. But great job regardless. I know that kind of took a trail off, but back to the track. Awesome job. Nothing Else is the artist's name, and that is their remix of Nightmare's track The One. Super, super good. Love it. I can't wait to hear more. I'll definitely check out more of your tracks. I'll hit that follow button.
Nothing else. I mean, shit, bro. What else could it be? Like, if it's nothing,
it's nothing else. But
you didn't leave any room for anything else anyway. It's just nothing.
It's all full. Oh, this is a submission from Italy. That's dope.
Oh shit.
I love Italian music, especially. I have a collab with an Italian rapper, and it's actually really good.
Really? That's tough.
From Possessed, actually. I have I did
Really?
I did a drill beat with someone from Kenya. I did a French rap beat with a person from Italy, and then I did a house track for my own, and then I did another like boom bap track.
Yeah.
I did it all in the same week just to get my Possessed whitelist. Talk about making tracks. I went all out. I was like, give me the wireless, and then I got it, and I spent all my ETH, and then I was like, why is it dumping?
I should have sold at 6 anyways.
Shit, I should have sold at 6, at 4, at 2, at 0.02. I should have sold it before they banned me and kicked me out of the Discord.
Do you still have the thing? Like, can you even?
I
still
have the
your
token.
item?
Yeah, I still own
Yeah.
the asset, but it's worthless.
Yeah.
They've been doing all these cool things in the Discord that I can't access because I'm banned. So it doesn't matter what I have. People be wildin', man. People get tripped up on this internet power. I've been banned from so many things.
Wonder if I'm guilty by association.
Probably not. I'm a lone wolf when it comes to running my mouth. I don't like to take anyone else out with me. But anyway,
They can't afford it.
yeah, great show, y'all. Thanks for everyone who tuned in. Thanks for everyone who submitted. Like that makes this show 30 times, 100 times better when y'all submit music, because it gives us something to talk about. It gives us something to appreciate, and it builds the community. Other people get to hear your shit, and yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here, but y'all.